A shadow moving through the forest that looks too big and too hairy to be human. Oceans turning red and a shark feeding frenzy. Satellite images exposing hidden bases. Nessie, Sasquatch, and more. These are crazy things accidentally captured on drone cameras. This is genuinely the craziest UAP footage I've ever seen, hands down. Serhiy Bezkretnov, a Ukrainian Ministry of Defense advisor, recently posted this infrared video recorded in May 2025 by a Ukrainian military drone pilot. The drone operator spotted this strange object in the night sky. Footage shows a round thing with a bright heat source in the center and 6 glowing points sticking out from its body, almost like a star. A warm trail also follows behind it, like a heat cloud. The object just hovers there, barely reacting to the drone filming it. Looks pretty otherworldly to me, but Bezkretnov made it clear it isn't being treated as an alien case. In a Telegram post, he said, "With the beginning of the war, the study of UFOs in our space became more of a military task than a civilian one. The armed forces of Ukraine even have a special detailed document on this topic, UFO sightings by Ukrainian troops, that has been cleared by the Supreme Commander. What might look like a UFO might well be a hidden new weapon of our enemy." Was a Sasquatch captured in this drone footage? A man was flying his new drone, keeping it relatively close, flying in circles. He was new to it, so he didn't want to go too far. Well, after only a few minutes, it died and hit the ground. When the guy got home and skimmed through the footage, he didn't really notice anything at first. All he'd really been trying to do was test it out anyway, but then he spotted it. He hadn't been alone out there. He'd recorded an animal, possibly a bear. But the more he looked at it, the stranger the animal looked. It was large, hairy, and walking upright. It almost looked like a Bigfoot type creature. But what do you all think of this one? Share your thoughts down in the comments. In 2016, a tour company called Echo Abrolhos Cruises was running a trip out in Dirk Hartog Island in Western Australia's Shark Bay when they came across a pretty gruesome scene in the water. It was a humpback whale being torn apart by 70 tiger sharks. They sent a drone up, and what it captured was the water turning deep red as the sharks just shredded through the carcass, a full-on feeding frenzy. Shark Bay is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, known for having tons of whales, dolphins, dugong sharks, and sea turtles. The company posted the drone footage to Facebook with the caption, "Something to show and tell the grandchildren." By Monday, it had nearly 500,000 views. And this drone footage captures the aftermath of something very different, the aftermath of the Tianjin explosions. On the night of August 12, 2015, a series of explosions ripped through a chemical storage warehouse at the port of Tianjin in northern China. The first two blasts hit 33 seconds apart. The second one was on a completely different level. The shock wave was strong enough to register as a 2.9 magnitude earthquake, and fireballs shot hundreds of meters into the sky. The explosion was so huge it showed up in satellite images from space. Here's some other terrifying footage. The warehouse was run by a company called Ruhai Logistics, which had been stockpiling over 40 types of dangerous chemicals, including 700 tons of sodium cyanide, 70 times what was legally allowed. There were rules in place saying a facility like this had to be at least a kilometer away from any homes as well. Those rules have been completely ignored. Around 5,600 families were living within a kilometer and a half of this site. When firefighters first showed up, they did what firefighters do. They started spraying water on the fire. The problem was nobody had told them what was actually stored inside. Water reacting with some of those chemicals, it released flammable gas, which just made everything catastrophically worse. 173 people died, including 104 firefighters. It was the deadliest single event for Chinese first responders since 1949. Over 17,000 apartments were also damaged. Fires kept burning for days, setting off 8 more explosions on August 15th. Drone footage captured the full scale of the wreckage. A massive crater where the warehouse had been, shipping containers scattered across the area, burnt cars. But then the cover-ups started. Authorities tried to tell the public that only 14 people had died. Social media posts about the disaster were being deleted, with the words Tianjin and explosion becoming the most censored search terms in the country, and a news article revealing that the firefighters had never been warned about the chemicals, how they would react with the water that was scrubbed after being shared 10,000 times. Turns out the company had pretty deep ties with government officials. By November of 2016, 49 executives and government workers were sentenced for what happened, and the head of Ruhai Logistics, you got the death sentence. Now, it's faint, but see if you can spot the outline of a creature swimming in the water in this drone footage. 2021, a British outdoorsman named Richard Maver was doing a charity canoe trip across Loch Ness, a 62-mile, 4-day paddle, raising money for the Alzheimer's Society. He sent a drone up to film his group pulling ashore for the night. He posted the footage to his YouTube channel, didn't notice anything, and moved on. A week later, though, a commenter named Steve Bates flagged something in the video. 4 minutes, water's edge, the ripples look like Nessie, he said. When Maver looked, he noticed it too, a long, thin shape just beneath the surface, moving toward the group's beached canoes. And it was big, nearly twice the length of their 14-foot canoes. I had to rewind and fast forward several times, Maver said. Couldn't place what it was. No driftwood, no debris. That's what's confused me, he went on. It's in inland water. You don't get tidal debris like you do on the coast. Things do wash up, but nothing the size of this. Maver isn't a believer in Nessie, but even he couldn't fully explain it, saying, the last thing I want to do is make a Nessie claim, but watching this, I think, yeah, there's something a bit strange here. Did this drone operator capture a ghost in this cemetery at night? Keep your eyes on the tall tombstone at the top of the screen. The drone flies after the figure, but it's nowhere to be seen. The video is posted to YouTube by Rusty Tucker, who wrote in the description that he visited Evergreen Cemetery in Judsonia, Arkansas to look into the local legend of the Ghost Mother. So the story goes, back in the early 1900s, a young mother lost her child near the cemetery. He searched the grounds for days and nights, but no luck. She refused to leave the graveyard, though, and was eventually found dead there. Supposedly, she was buried close to where she died, and people believe her spirit still roams the cemetery, searching for her child. Rusty and his team first went to the cemetery the night before and claimed they heard strange sounds like crying and moaning. They said they were a little too freaked out to get out of the truck, so they left and returned later with a drone to film the area from above instead. And that's when they caught the figure crouching by the tombstone before disappearing into the darkness. This one is technically the reverse situation here. Instead of a drone capturing something, Google Earth exposed a secret drone base. Back in 2011, aviation website Flight Global was poking around Google Earth satellite imagery and came across an unmarked airfield sitting on land owned by the Department of Energy out in Yucca Lake, Nevada. There was a 5,200-foot runway, hangars, a parking lot, the security perimeter, and what turned out to be a specialized hangar designed to house a specific type of advanced drone. Those drones were RQ-170 Sentinels, nicknamed Beasts. High-definition cameras, stealth design. One had just made headlines because Iran shot one down while it was surveilling a nuclear facility. The Department of Energy acknowledged that both manned and unmanned flights operated out of the field regularly, but nobody would say which agency was actually running the place. One theory was the CIA. 2 years earlier, in 2009, Google's satellite imagery also picked up American drones parked at a base in Pakistan, which was awkward, given that the US government was publicly denying it had any drones operating there at all. This dude in Idaho was flying his drone in a remote area when he caught a bipedal figure running across a grassy field. It looked big and hairy. The footage was posted to YouTube, being touted as Sasquatch footage near Hawkins Reservoir in Idaho. In the video, you see this human-shaped figure move across an open field and then disappear into a tree line. The video picked up quite a bit of attention, racking up over 500,000 views. Hard to make out whether this is a person or an actual creature. I mean, the drone is just so high up, but what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments. Next, we have the bizarre case of the man in the trunk. This strange image comes from Google Earth. The two most obvious questions that immediately come to mind are, why is this guy inside the trunk of this car, and why isn't he wearing any clothes? It's safe to assume that anyone looking at this image would have their attention instantly drawn to the naked man, yet if you look a bit closer at the surrounding scene to figure out any context, even more questions start popping up. For instance, what's all the clutter scattered next to the vehicle? What kind of liquid is in that jug? Is the dog in the ground just resting, or is it dead? If the dog's alive, why is it completely unfazed by this nude guy crawling out of the car next to him? There's so many strange details packed into this one image. And we're finishing off with more sea creature footage. Two filmmakers, Richard Rossi and producer Kelly Tabor, are in post-production for their movie Lucy and the Lake Monster, a fictional story of a young girl and her grandfather searching for the famous lake creature known as Champ. While going through some drone footage they'd shot over the lake for the film, they noticed something. In the water, just beneath a boat, there's this large, dark shape moving slowly under the surface. It doesn't look like debris or a shadow from the boat. Rosie later said that when they spotted it during editing, they were completely caught off guard, just sitting there watching it over and over because they couldn't explain it. Tuber pointed out what she believed looked like a fin-like movement, even comparing the shape to something resembling a plesiosaur. Now, Champ is the nickname for a lake monster said to live in Lake Champlain. The story goes back hundreds of years. Over time, people have reported seeing this long-necked creature moving through water. That's been the video for today. I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, next time.